believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How the heck are you? Good morning, afternoon, and evening to y'all. Howdy. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for choosing to spend your next 20, 30, 40 minutes listening to me babble incessantly about nothing whatsoever, getting sidetracked by shiny things and trying to stay on task. So if you're joining for the first time, that's what you have to look forward to. Sometimes I'm talking religion, sometimes politics, sometimes family, sometimes just about life and my surroundings and just whatever has been keeping me up. Things that are keeping me up at night. I talk about those thoughts. And sometimes I yell and cry and laugh and wander and babble. So there's that. And like right now, you're going to hear there's someone backing up like a trailer, and it's making all kinds of noise. And you're going to hear birds and coyotes and crickets and who knows, people in the background. I walk around and I pace. Sometimes my dogs will be in the background. So that's what you have. Anyway, thank you. So if despite all of those things, despite all of that, if you're still listening, thank you. Thank you so stinking much. I appreciate it very, very much. So what has been keeping me up? So I kind of touched on this on some of my social media posts, but a friend brought up a good point, and that is that women do not need to catch up. We are not still oppressed and fighting. We already have a lot of amazing women doing amazing things. We're just not getting that attention. We're not getting that spotlight. And unfortunately, we're also trying to do things that we're just never going to get that spotlight as much as we want it, like women's basketball, women's NBA. I'm not saying that there aren't amazing, talented women out there that deserve a platform to showcase their um, their athleticism, in basketball. I think there should be, and I'm glad that there is. But let's face it, they shouldn't make as much money as men because they don't bring in as much money. They just don't. I'm sorry, but if it doesn't bring in as much money, how are they going to pay you as much as the men? They can't. They can't pay you that much because you're not earning that much. So instead of trying to get into things like that, again, I'm not saying to take away the WNBA. I'm not saying that women shouldn't be paid to be in professional sports. They should. But if that professional sport just so happens to make significantly less money than their counterpart, then no, they don't deserve to make as much. Same with is if there's a sport that a man is in that just men are in, and if it doesn't bring in enough income or sell enough merchandise to make enough money to pay, as much as say maybe a woman's making more. Okay, well not maybe the women deserve more because they're bringing in more of a crowd. They're bringing in people to pay for that paycheck, to pay for those the merchandise that they're buying is paying their salaries. So instead of focusing on those things that we're just struggling so hard to try to wiggle our way into and fight for, he suggested, and I agree, that we showcase and highlight the things that we're already statistically better at than men. And again, by the way, this is not bashing men. I think men are wonderful. I've always been a big fan of men. And, not every man is wonderful. Of course, I dislike certain women and I dislike certain men, but I'm not a man hater. So this isn't about like loving women and woman power or bashing men. And, I'm just pointing out that he brought up a good point, and that is women tend to be, statistically speaking, better at surgery, better at welding, better at underwater welding, better at being in space, better astronauts, better fighter um, pilots. And we can handle the G force better. We can handle the mental, what it takes mentally to be in space. We have better dexterity. And these things have been proven. It's not an opinion, it's actually a fact. And again, that doesn't mean that there aren't amazing male surgeons, astronauts, pilots. Doesn't mean that at all. It just means that women statistically tend to be better at those things. So why not have more women, you know, do those things? Of course, being an astronaut and being, piloting a fighter jet are, very specific things that not everyone's going to want to do, but we tend to be better at them. So let's showcase the top 10 astronauts, the top 10 fighter pilots. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. Like, I'm struggling really hard to say fighter pilots. I keep wanting to say fighter jet pilots. I don't know. Anyway, um, let's showcase, all the surgeons. Let's talk about all the welders and show what they have done and things that they have worked on. Highlight the things that women are amazing at and not act like we need to catch up. Because unfortunately, there are certain things that men are better at than we are, and vice versa. Unfortunately, there are certain things that Black people tend to be better at than white people because it's a fact that their muscles are different. They're built different. There are things that um, children are better at than adults because, they're younger and they can run around and they have better, they can stretch and do things that, sometimes we can't do when we're older. It's just life. It's just facts, and that's okay. It's just genetics. That's my point. It's just genetics, and it's how we're made. It's in our DNA, and we can't help if certain things. Again, I'm not saying that men can't be surgeons or welders. I'm not saying that, women shouldn't get paid to be in basketball or that they suck at basketball. I'm just saying we're not going to draw in the crowds. Unfortunately, we're just not, as much as the NBA is. Therefore, women should not get paid as much. I'm sorry. It's a touchy subject. A lot of women don't want to hear it, but I feel it's the truth. So, this is something that he brought up, and I was like, true. And we were discussing this after the whole, quote, astronauts, 6 astronauts in space, quote. And I put quotes around astronaut and quotes around space is because we all know they did not go to space, nor are they astronauts. Nor will any of those people ever be astronauts, the 6 of them. So we were talking about this and discussing this because it's a shame that the women that are actual astronauts don't get highlighted. And he had told me about 5 of them that are at the top of their field at NASA. And I was just like, that is absolutely amazing. And I don't want to say all of them because he's the one that thought of it and he'll be talking about it. And I don't want to take away from his, so he's going to talk about it and showcase those people. And once he's done that first, then I will, discuss them and all of that. So, but it's just, we don't need to act like we are oppressed anymore because we can go out and get jobs and we can vote and we can drive and we can, have the right to, be married to whomever we want and all of these things. And unfortunately, sometimes men and women should get paid different salaries. Sometimes an older person versus a younger person, someone more seasoned, someone more experienced should get paid more. Sometimes having a degree matters, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, not everything is black and white. Again, that's something I've talked about so many times. I feel very confident that few things in life are black and white, this way or that way. I feel there's a lot of gray. I don't know. Just my opinion. I'm sitting here pacing around, and my dog is snoring, and my other dog is snoring now. I have two dogs snoring and crashed outside. We had a long day. It's a rough life being a dog. Get it? Rough life. See what I did there? Yeah. See, that's another thing you get with this podcast. You get jokes like that. Quality, laffy taffy, corny jokes. And quality singing, might I add, and rapping. Just kidding. Just horrible, horrible, horrible singing. You get that. So, woohoo. Anyway, I was thinking about that, and I had heard that, and then that reminded me of Beyonce and the whole Cowboy Carter thing and the whole winning um, album of the year. And I still go back to how on earth did Cowboy Carter get album of the year when not a single song was even on the top 10 and album sales were low? And now she has her Cowboy Carter tour coming up and she can't give away tickets. Nobody wants to go to the Cowboy Carter Beyonce tour because nobody thought that album was worthy of even listening to or buying, let alone getting a Grammy for over people whose songs were in the top 5 and whose sales are still blooming and who can sell out venues. And it just started me thinking on Hillary Clinton and just all these shady people out there that like to buy their way into things and then try to snuff out people that don't give them what they want. And people that try to cancel others when they disagree and have a difference of opinion, and how nowadays it's just perfectly acceptable to teach kids that if you disagree with somebody and you don't like somebody, to go ahead and shank them, go ahead and bully them, go ahead and beat the crap out of them, go ahead and destroy their car, go ahead and try to take away their livelihood and get them fired from their job so they can't pay their bills and their children and them are homeless. Feel free to just absolutely annihilate someone and ruin their life or kill them because they have a difference of opinion. Because you have a difference of opinion. Yeah, that sounds logical. And then feel free to buy your own awards. Not saying anybody did that, but maybe somebody did that. Oh, Bonnie. Oh, no. Oh, uh-oh. These parts to a chair I needed to put together just fell. And poor girl, I fell like right next to her. Goodness. There you go, Bonnie. Sorry, see, you're here. You will hear things like that. Case in point. Anyway, um, and then now people are all over the internet talking about having our president assassinated. Like, this is just a perfectly logical, apparently normal thing to just, you know, talk about having the president of the United States assassinated, is apparently how far gone the left is now. And then they claim to be peaceful, wonderful human beings. And I'm just like, nowadays, nothing is real. Katy Perry, that whole thing with space was just a big PR publicity. Well, PR is publicity, but anyways, sorry, I'm making myself a coconut milk coffee thing. I'm going to try it out. Don't know if it's going to be good, but hmm, yeah. All right. Anyway, it's just frustrating when people think these are the type of people that we should look up to. That's what I'm trying to say. People are like, oh, yes, we should totally look up to Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Beyonce, and Katy Perry. even though they had to be paid to represent Kamala. They had to be paid to go around saying that they support Kamala Harris because they don't, I mean, they may actually support her, who knows? But I know that most of the time when you support somebody, you don't have to be paid to go around saying, hey, vote for this person, vote for this person. I support this person. You should support this person. People don't usually need to get paid for that. Sorry, it's a really obnoxious noise, but and so thank the Lord, people are waking up and they're like, wow, it reminds me of Can't Buy Me Love. Man, this is all bullshit. Because it is. It's just such a load of garbage. And Hollywood is finally starting to crumble. It's starting to, their ivory towers are crumbling, you know? Sorry, I'm totally making this coffee thing and I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but you know, we shall see. I'm making it up as I go. I've always wanted to do like a bartender thing for a couple of nights just to like be a mixologist. I love like coming up with drinks and I love coming up with like sauces and I love coming up with like rubs to put on meats. I'm like a little chemist. I like putting things together and I also love seeing I loved chemistry. You know, I'm just like, wow, what does that do? Let me see what happens. And I usually come up with some pretty badass drinks if I do say myself. I mean, I'm no AOC, we can't compare to her, to the AOC, kind of bartending. No, I can't compare to that, of course, but mm, it's pretty tasty if I do say so myself. All right. Anyway, so I'm glad that people are waking up to the nonsense and they're seeing these celebrities for who they are, which is a bunch of sellouts, a bunch of lemmings. Thank God there are some normal celebrities out there. Thank goodness there are some people out there that have some dignity and some morals and ethics. And Katy Perry, again, I like her voice. She does have a the woman can sing. She has some pipes. She's not ugly, she's an attractive person with a great voice. And I like a lot of her songs. I hate to say it, I do. I like a lot of her songs, but as a human, pass. Pass as a human. Don't wish ill upon her. Unlike leftists, I don't wish her to be unalive, as you people like to say. It sounds so strange to me, but I don't want her dead or anything. See, that's where, again, leftists are different than normal people. And that is when we disagree with someone, we don't wish death upon them. We don't go around destroying their lives. We don't go around trying to get them fired from their jobs so that they no longer can pay their bills or buy food. We don't try to destroy their entire life by spreading fake news and spread well, they should be sued for defamation of character, but we don't try to destroy someone's entire being because we disagree. We don't destroy their property because because we disagree. Mm, just infuriates me. Really just seeing this and then seeing those that actually applaud Carmelo Anthony and his family. And the fact that that family thinks that they're a victim. And the fact that this kid is allowed to be in a $900,000 home with a new car that's, supposedly not theirs. Supposedly, it's been looked into and it isn't theirs. That doesn't mean that they're not waiting for this money to be transferred over. Doesn't mean that this isn't like on hold in somebody else's name. And then, once this whole trial or whatever is over, that they're not going to buy it. Who's to say they're not? Not accusing them of that because I can't, but, you know, mm, when we're saying that that's okay, when we're promoting that, and then we wonder why kids are going around bullying now, they're watching and listening to every single thing we say. And they're watching and listening to what the celebrities are saying when they are ignorant. and they have no idea what's going on. And they're teaching our kids now to be lemmings. And we used to teach our kids, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? We used to teach our kids to look both ways before they crossed a street. We used to teach kids to go to a library and, look it up, to listen to both sides of the story, to use our words. Remember when we used to say, use our words? What the hell has happened? We're saying, use our fists, use a knife, go out and protest shit. And then when someone, God forbid, asks you what you're protesting, you think that that's a bad thing. Shouldn't you know what you're protesting about? Shouldn't you be very, very well versed and educated on what you're so passionate about that you're going out and interrupting everybody else's lives and destroying everybody else's lives? Shouldn't you know what the fuck you're talking about? Shouldn't the words that come out of your mouth be educated? So you don't look like a flaming idiot on the internet, which is forever, and your grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren will see you looking like an uneducated idiot that just went out and started protesting something that they had absolutely zero idea about. No clue. They just went out because they're lemmings, because if everybody jumps off a bridge, apparently you will too. Why are you teaching your kids that's okay? And why are you teaching your kids it's okay to talk to strangers? Remember when we used to say, don't talk to strangers, don't take candy from strangers, don't sit on strangers' laps, don't let strangers talk about or look at your private area? And now adults are shoving their private areas in children's faces. Strange adults are shoving their private their private areas into their faces, getting all up into their business, and then allowing them to give money to these people. We are now teaching children to give money to people, to adults that are half naked, rubbing their private parts on them. And then we're teaching them to like it and to celebrate it. And so now, if Tommy ever gets molested, he's just going to think he should give his uncle or aunt or dad or friend, babysitter money now. We should just start giving molesters money now. That's what we're teaching kids. We're teaching kids that we should never look at another point of view. We should only look at one side and never the other side. We're teaching kids that we should set things on fire and ruin people's lives if we disagree. It's just wonderful. And then the left say, oh, we're so loving. And again, like I've said before, you have a very weird, warped perception of love. And that is why you are screaming for attention, because you didn't get enough love. Mm. Anyway, I had to take a drink of my little. So what I did is I put a little bit of coconut milk, which does curdle a little bit, which sounds gross, but you have to kind of just put it in after you put the Starbucks. I hate Starbucks, but I grabbed it. They didn't have anything else. And I put some of the Starbucks caramel with a little bit of coconut milk and then a little bit of that the buzz ball, doing a little day drinky. Hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm home. I've been out for hours out in nature. I've been out exercising my dogs, doing mental and physical work with my dogs. I have been out running errands. I have cleaned my house. And now I have earned a little day drinking, It's 5 o'clock. It's 4:15, you know? It's all good. Okay, that's another thing. Why does time of day matter, and why does it matter if there's like breakfast drinks? I don't understand why what you mix it with makes it a breakfast drink. It's still alcohol. Why does it matter what you mix the alcohol with to make it a breakfast drink, like a mimosa, champagne and orange juice, or like a Bloody Mary? Like these are for some reason acceptable things because, if you have vodka and, the Bloody Mary mix and stuff, somehow that makes it a breakfast drink. And it cracks me up because I'm like, why does time of day matter what you're drinking? It's still alcohol. You're still drinking vodka. You're still drinking champagne. So what difference does it make what time of day? As long as you aren't operating machinery, as long as you're not going to work, as long as you don't have to be like a responsible person that's like, has babies you're supposed to be watching, then what difference does it make? Never understood that. But anyway, these are some things that have been on my mind and preventing me from sleeping. Also, my shoulder. My shoulder's really foobar. So I've been doing a lot of stretching, which is how I'm going to end this podcast. Because again, I try to end on a positive note. I want to end on a good note. I don't want to be a buzzkill. I don't want to be a big old bummer. So I've been doing some stretching. If you have a really high bed, try to hang yourself over the side of the bed, not hang yourself, try to hang over the side of the bed where your shoulders are like hanging over the side of the bed. And then you reach down with your arms, so almost like you're doing a back bend, basically like you're doing a back bend over your bed if you have a high bed. And you can put different parts of your body, different parts of your shoulder. You can go really high up, really low, and hang more or less of your body over the side of the bed. And it really helps stretch out and pop your back. So there you go. I think everybody should stretch. Breathe in that air. Remember why they're alive. Remember if there's a problem and you can fix it and there's a solution. Okay. If it's something that's out of your control, you've got to move past it and go for a walk, do a little robot dance. Oh, by the way, to everybody that's listening, here's your dance. Robot and robot and robot and Vogue and Vogue and Vogue and Vogue and the sprinkler, the sprinkler, the sprinkler and running man, running man, running man, running man. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop, get it, whoop, whoop. There you go. That's your welcome dance. Because I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody so much. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a spouse, tell a coworker. But everybody, try to have yourself a great rest of the day, evening, afternoon, whatever the case may be, and keep listening. Until next time.